So just go ahead and get really nice and comfortable. Spend a minute just lining yourself up and, shake anything out that maybe you got a little jitter somewhere that needs a little bit of attention. But, take a second just to not run away from that, but just pay attention to it. And just begin to breathe some normal breaths. Begin to become aware of your more subtle senses, your felt senses, and anything that may be going on in the background. Just make that part of your practice today. So let's go ahead and rub the palms of the hands together at the heart center. And we'll tune in together as a group here. It'll help me to tune in and it'll help us to tune in as a group. And you're all familiar with this. So take a deep inhale. And then exhale all the air out. Pull in the abs and push the air out. And then inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And as we chant the Mangala Charan mantra, just imagine in the first part of it, there's a shield that's in front, and the second line of it, it's to the left, and then on the third line of it, a shield of protection behind us, and the fourth line is a shield of protection to the right. So let's go ahead, stay in prayer pose, and inhale for Ad Gure Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Guru Deve Name. And take a deep inhale now. Suspend the breath momentarily. And then exhale and relax the hands down to the knees. And once again, just take a moment here and come back into your breath. Let the breath just be nice and relaxed now. We're going to spend the first couple of minutes here just trying to empty out anything that maybe you might have come into the class with or concerns that you have going on. Let's just take a moment and set that aside. Set aside thinking for the time being. It'll come and go throughout the class, but as it does, just see if you can just let it go like a cloud. And just keep coming back aware of your inner self. Keep coming internal. And we'll begin with a very simple little pranayama. To begin with here, we're going to be turning the head side to side, and this is going to be really slow, and the head is going to turn. We're going to inhale to the left and exhale to the right, and inhale to the left, and move your head in really slow motion, and try to feel the effects of this subtle shift back and forth. Your eyes can be open or they can be closed. If your eyes are open, just bring them into a soft gaze. This is really good for loosening the very upper vertebrae, occiput and axial right at the very top of the spine. And now go ahead and inhale to the center and pause there. And we're just going to reverse it now. We're going to inhale to the right and exhale to the left. Once again, nice slow motion. Don't crank your head so far that it starts to tip up. Just come to a nice, comfortable spot. Inhale right, exhale left. And now go ahead and inhale to center. Take a deep inhale. Inhale a little more. And then exhale and let that go. And just pause for a moment. Notice the really subtle shifts that happen with that type of breathing, side to side, hemisphere to hemisphere. And now we'll crank it up just a little bit. Let's take a deep inhale and inhale the arms up overhead. And the fingers are going to be interlaced when they're up overhead. And the palms are going to be up towards the ceiling. And if you have shoulder problems, don't stretch up into it too far. Yeah, everybody looks good. Super. So just stretch up into that for a moment and imagine becoming long through the spine. You can actually create little bits of space in the spine with this type of stretching. Sometimes it's just a tiny bit, but boy, it can sure make a big difference. So let's take a deep inhale now. And then exhale and bring the hands down behind the head. And we're just going to take a gentle roll over. We're not pushing on the head here. We're just rounding over. It helps if you keep the shoulders open. And then inhale, we're just going to reverse and go back up to the ceiling. Palms up towards the ceiling. And exhale and just reverse the motion. We're going to round back over. We'll do this one more time after this. And inhale up. And exhale and just round everything gently over. Nice smooth curve. And this time, inhale, release the hands and just take them right straight up to the ceiling and just shake your hands out a little bit. And then go ahead and just bring them back down. Now, John, you're in a chair, it looks like, yeah? You're okay on the back, though? You're in a chair too, Vicky? Okay. You both can come onto your back, though? All right. Well, we're not going to be there yet, but soon. All right. So let's just take a moment here now, and we're going to begin a couple of little spinal stretches. So take a deep inhale, take the arms all the way back up overhead again, and drop the left hand next to the left hip, wherever you're sitting in. And before you begin to lean over, first of all, just stretch straight up through that right arm. And now if you are ready, you can begin to just lean over. Don't go beyond your edge here. You don't want to make anything sore for later. And if you don't lean over, just reach up and open up the ribs. And then go ahead and exhale. Hands are back into the lap again now. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. So let's inhale, arms up overhead. Or on the right side, rather. And go ahead and drop the right hand next to the right hip. And just stretch right straight up without leaning the spine over. And then if you can, just take a little bit of a lean to that side, open up the rib cage. And then go ahead and come back to center. Hands are back in the lap once again. And now just take a moment now and just see if you notice any subtle shifts. Everything's about breathing in yoga. You open up spaces. Just as we work today, just think about space. Think of internal space, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's mental. Maybe it's strictly physical liberation. But just begin to think about space. And that's what we're trying to do, is create space. What the yogis call Jivan Mukt, which is liberation while alive. All right, enough of that. So let's inhale. We're going to take the arms back up overhead. And this time we're just going to drop the left hand behind us. And the right hand's going to come onto the knee. And before you begin to twist, make sure you're sitting up nice and straight. And then just begin to take a nice gentle twist. You're not trying to overstretch anything here. You can turn your head with this one. And then once your head is turned, you can also turn your eyeballs and look in that direction. And then let's inhale and unwind and come back to center. And just notice what you notice for a moment here. So please inhale and lift the arms up overhead. Once again, we're going to drop the right hand behind us. And the left hand is going to come on to the right knee. And we're just going to turn gently in that direction. Don't try to really crank it. Just nice, easy twist. Bring out the inner organs here. Turn the head gently. And then if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and turn the eyes. A little bit of a stretch on the optic nerve activates the pituitary gland. So go ahead and inhale deeply now. And exhale as you unwind. And we'll come all the way back into the center position again. And do you both have a strap? No strap. Okay, so we won't worry about that today. Okay, so let's go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of us, and I stretch the sciatic nerve a lot of times while we're lying on the back. But let's go ahead and kick the legs out in front of us. And if you're in a chair, you don't have, you're obviously your legs aren't going to be sitting straight in front of you like mine are, but you'll get exactly the same motion. I'm going to turn sideways here to really demonstrate where this motion is generated. So the first thing to do is just take a deep breath and sit up straight. Let everything relax. Roll your tailbone forward just a little bit so your chest is slightly out. And this motion is going to come strictly from the hips here. We're not like rounding. It might be that you move this far in the beginning, but let the motion just come from the hinge in the hips here. And your hands can come onto your legs wherever they do. And just begin to move back and forth. And the spine stays straight. The head stays straight here. And just move back and forth a few times. We're going to come into a static stretch here momentarily. And now go ahead and take a deep inhale, sit up straight. And just now this time you can go ahead and roll all the way over, roll the head over, roll the spine over. You might not have much articulation in your spine, I don't. But anything that you can relax in this position, let it relax. Let your face relax. And let your breath relax. And then go ahead and gently inhale and come up out of the posture. And we're going to come next all the way onto the back. We'll do some sciatic nerve stretch from that posture as well. So make yourself really comfortable on your back. You can have a pillow under your head. And first of all, just begin to completely relax into the floor. Just take a moment here to let go of any tension that you're holding on to, anything that might have got activated a little bit in the exercises we've done. Just begin to let that go and feel gravity into the floor. And the first thing we'll do here is we're going to begin working side to side with the legs. And I'll turn slightly sideways here. So we're going to be inhaling and just hugging one knee in. Just give it a nice hug. And exhaling, extending that leg back out. Inhale, hug the left knee in. And exhale. And work this at your own speed, just back and forth, nice and slow. You can do it fast if you want. We're going to do about 10 repetitions. Give your hip a nice little squeeze, your leg a nice little squeeze. It'll open the hip up. Really concentrate on the breath in this one. And wherever you are now, hug that knee into the chest. Give it a nice squeeze. Articulate your foot around whichever leg you're on. It doesn't matter. Turn it around in some circles. Articulate side to side. Go in some nice tight circles in each direction. It'll help. It's easy to do an ellipse, but if you try to draw a nice tight circle, it really works on the lateral muscles in your calves. Really good articulation. Make sure you move in both directions. And now go ahead and inhale. And just gently as you exhale, raise the forehead up towards that knee. Maybe you just bring the head slightly off the floor. Maybe you touch your head to the knee. And then go ahead and exhale and relax that leg down. Bring both palms to the floor, both hands to the floor. Palms are up here. Feet are slightly splayed out to the side. And let's go ahead and inhale now. And hug the left knee in, or whichever knee you haven't done yet. Hug that in. And work your foot. Articulate the foot in all directions. The side by side is one that people lose as they get older. It's important to keep it. A lot of people break their ankles. Make sure you turn in both directions with the circle here. And then inhale the head up towards the knee. And then exhale and let that go. And once again, just relax here for about 5 seconds. Notice what you notice. We're going to crank up the abs a little bit here. It won't be too bad, I promise. So let's inhale together, please. And then just bring your knees up over your hips, or maybe they're further towards your head than your hips, but just so everything's nice and relaxed here. And go ahead and create just a little bit of squeeze in between the knees. Squeeze the knees just gently together. And we're going to just begin to toe tap with both toes down to the ground. Inhale down. Exhale as you come up. This is just a gentle way to wake up the abs. And you can tell if you're using your hip flexors here, we want to try to stay out of the hip flexors. You can put your fingers right here at the very top of your hip flexors. And the minute that you feel your hip flexors beginning to work, that's when you need to just relax. We're trying to use the lower psoas muscle here, the lower part of the psoas. Go ahead and take a couple more like that. And then drop your feet all the way to the floor again. And just pause for a moment now. And now please inhale. The arms are going to be pointed like this up towards the ceiling. And then they're going to be cocked back at like 90-degree angles. So my fingers are actually pointing behind me. And we want, just about shoulder width apart. And so there's a right angle here. And now let's go ahead and inhale. And bring the knees now up over the hips. Your feet still aren't doing anything yet. They're just dangling loosely. And we're going to begin a little bit of a side-to-side motion. We're going to inhale. Please inhale up. Left leg, right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale down. Inhale the other leg up to the ceiling. Other arm up. And come back to that 90-degree. Actually, our legs should be at 90 degrees now, too, as we do this. So just move side by side now. This works on the proprioception in the brain, side to side. We'll do this for about another 15 seconds. And if you're in a chair, you can still do this. Just be creative and be careful about your motions. And now go ahead and inhale whatever leg and whatever arm up. Hold momentarily. Exhale, back to 90. Inhale, back up on the other side. Hold. And then exhale. And go ahead and bring the feet back to the floor. You can bring the hands here now to your chest, or you can just simply leave them by your side. But we'll remain in constructive rest pose where your feet are flat on the floor and they're up near the buttocks. And just relax in this pose now. It's constructive rest pose. Spend a moment here. So we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to do about 5 bridges, and we're going to hold for a count of 4 on each bridge that we make. So before you even begin, let me just show you what a bridge pose looks like. So the hands are flat on the floor, feet are up near the buttocks. You can actually grab the ankles if you're flexible enough. You can do a bridge pose holding on to your ankles. Otherwise, have your palms flat on the floor. And we're going to inhale and just roll the tailbone up, just nothing but the tail on the first part of it. And then the second part of it, with our tailbone still rolled up, we're going to peel up into a complete bridge. And then we'll be holding up there. So, okay, so here we go. just allow everything to relax that you're not using here, especially your face and neck. No need to use them. So let's go ahead and inhale and just gently roll the tailbone up. And then go ahead and peel up off the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Take a couple long, deep breaths here. And then go ahead and roll down one vertebrae at a time again. Uncurl the tailbone, the last move. So go ahead and inhale, roll the tailbone, and push yourself up. Use your arms and use your feet, use your abs here. You have a lot available to you to push yourself up and suspend yourself up in a nice bridge pose. And go ahead and exhale down, one vertebrae at a time. And we'll just do this one more time. So go ahead and inhale, roll the tailbone up, and then peel yourself up into a nice bridge. Whatever that is for you, maybe you just come up off the floor a little ways, maybe you come way up. And then exhale and go ahead and release down. And we'll stay in this posture here that we're in, the constructive rest pose. But go ahead and bring your feet out wide, about as wide as the mat. So they're kind of at the edge of the mat. It depends a lot on your flexibility too on this one. This time we'll have our palms flat on the floor, or they'll be under our buttocks. And we're just going to do it very simply. One leg is going to move at a time. There won't be two legs moving. It won't be like scissors. We're going to just inhale and just gently draw that right leg down towards the floor in the center. Hold that. And then come back up out of it. And once this becomes stationary, again, go ahead on to the other side now. And try to keep this leg more or less straight up and down. It'll help you to use the right muscles by doing that. And be really careful not to overstretch on this, and just move back and forth at your own speed now. Use your breath. Inhale, push the leg down. Exhale. And be really careful, really gentle with yourself here. And now go ahead and bring your feet back together or close together, maybe a fist distance apart. And then bring the knees together and just give a little bit of a squeeze. We're not trying to really force the knees together, but we want to also work a little bit on the sides of the psoas. So give your knees a gentle squeeze together. And then let that go. And we'll do that one more time. We'll hold for about a count of 4. Bring your knees together. And once again, you'll feel it around the lower part of the psoas muscle. So inhale. Suspend your breath. And then just nice light squeeze. If you squeeze too hard, you'll get into other muscles. We're just looking for the lower bowl of the psoas here. And then go ahead and exhale now. And just pause for a moment once again. And let's take a nice spinal stretch here, nice spinal twist. You can do this if you're in a chair. You can do it from lying on your back, right from the position we're in. So just take your left ankle and cross it over your right thigh, your right knee, somewhere right in that area right there. And just begin to stretch into this. You can use a little bit of a stretch downward with this leg. We'll bring the foot up off the floor momentarily. So now go ahead and grab behind the knee. Just hold on to that spot right there behind the knee. Now your foot's up off the floor. And now you can begin to leverage into that a little bit by pulling back on the right leg. And if you want a little more challenge, you can take that leg up to the ceiling. Just be very careful here about not overstretching. I mean, maybe you can only get it up a little ways. Your knee doesn't have to be straight. You can rock side to side a little bit doing this. It'll deepen the stretch. And now go ahead and take a deep inhale and bring that foot down to the floor. And then unwind. And just pause for a moment with the palms up. Take a breath. Take another breath. And now please inhale and bring the right ankle over the left knee. And maybe this is where you stay today. This is a fine stretch right here. You can leverage a little bit with your hands here. The point is just to get the hips opened up. Maybe this is as far as you go today. Maybe the other day you could go further. If that's it, just stay right there and stretch into it. Otherwise, go ahead and bring your hands behind the knee. Relax for a moment, and then begin to deepen the stretch by pulling up on the left knee. And then if you want a little more challenge, you can take your foot all the way up towards the ceiling. Rock back and forth a little bit if that's the posture you're in. Nice little massage of the organs here. And now take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, bring that foot back down to the floor. And go ahead and unwind the right foot, the right leg. And now interlace the fingers together and bring them together in the small, right behind the head. And just gently lift up on the head. We're just trying to release the neck a little bit here. Don't put any force on it. Just a little gentle release on the neck. And then go ahead and let that go. And just as you pause here, just notice what's going on. That's the trick about yoga. Yoga is a deep experience if you really pay attention to it. What's going on inside. Just be with whatever that is right now. There's nothing to change. All right, so let's roll on to the right side now. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, roll on to the right side. And then let's push ourselves all the way up to seated. And we're actually going to come all the way through seated here. And we're going to come into tabletop, which is hands under the shoulders. And your knees are directly under the hips. This is going to be our start. This is your neutral tabletop position. Fingers are spread wide. The first thing we want to do here is let's just walk our hands out in front of us at whatever angle you're comfortable with, and then lower the head all the way to the floor. Leave your buttocks sticking straight up in the air. Nobody can see. And just bring the hairline of your head right down to the floor, and your arms, whatever your arms can be, wherever they are, to be comfortable. What we're trying to form here is we're just trying to form a little bit of a downward triangle from the heart to the head and the earth. Let everything flow in that direction for a moment. And please take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, sink all the way back onto your heels and come into extended child's pose. Arms are out in front still. Maybe you can't stretch out in front, but just sort of keep them in front of your head. Let your head come all the way to the floor in this posture. And then let's inhale. We're going to be moving through child's pose and cobra. It doesn't have to be a full cobra. We're going to be coming forward with our head up and our chest is up over our hands. And it's not really a full cobra. Just give your spine a little bit of extension here. And then come all the way back to child's pose. And we'll just do this a couple of times more. Inhale and come forward, slight cobra. And then exhale back. And one more time now. And then inhale and come into the neutral tabletop posture. Fingers spread wide, directly under the shoulders. And throughout this series of exercises, with the exception of a couple crunches right at the end, you're always looking in between your hands. You're not looking up at me, except for to see what I'm going to be doing here, but you'll get the hang of this really quick. It's a side-by-side cross-crawl motion, only we're on our stomach and not on our back. So we're going to inhale and take the right hand straight out and stretch the left foot directly behind us. Pause in this pointed position, and then exhale and come back down. And then inhale, switch to the other side. Just take a nice stretch on each side here. Exhale, come back down. We'll do this 2 more times on each side. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, back to center. And just remember, keep looking down unless you need to see what we're doing, but it's simple side to side here. One arm, one leg. And just do a couple more at your own pace now. Pause and take a nice stretch if you want. And then go ahead and come all the way back to center now. Take a deep inhale and look down in between your hands. And go ahead and curl your toes up under. So your toes you're not on the tops of your feet anymore. Your toes are curled up under. And if you're okay with it, just hover the knees up off of the floor. We're not trying to come all the way into a downward dog. Just hover the knees off of the floor and then come back down. And this time, inhale, and if you want, come all the way up into downward dog, triangle pose. And just pause in this posture. And you can be in a chair. You can use the seat of the chair for your arms and in this one. The point, once again, here is to get the head below the heart. Once again, another great exercise for the pituitary gland. It's also a really good spiritual position to lead with the heart and not with the head. It reminds me that my head is not to lead, my heart is to lead. Paddle your feet out a little bit, and then just go ahead now and lower your knees back down to the floor. Come back into the neutral tabletop posture. And just pause once again and stare down at the space in between your hands. And your eyes can be open or closed when you're staring. What I mean is just focus on the spot right in between your hands. We're going to work with a little bit of side-by-side balance. Now this one will stretch, it'll stretch you just a little bit. We're only going to be working with one arm. So let's go ahead and take a deep inhale, and now just bring the right arm out parallel to the floor and see just how straight you can still stay. Once again, the head is looking between the hands. And then exhale and bring it back down. And just move gracefully between each position, each side. And do this a few more times at your own speed. Take a moment to feel the balance. And now go ahead and inhale. Come all the way back to center. Look down between the hands once again. And now curl the toes, and you can either come in through downward dog, or you can just come into a full frontward bow. Your legs don't have to be straight here. But we're going to come all the way into a forward front bend. So go ahead, and if you're in downward dog, just walk your feet up towards your hands. And just let everything hang now. You'll feel your face actually kind of peeling away from your bone structure when your face is really relaxed in the downward position. Just let everything flow now. Your hands can either be on your knees or on the floor. And just imagine now the flow of energy. And then let's inhale together, please. And as you exhale, just walk yourself up gently up to standing. Bring your head up last so you don't get dizzy. And just feel your best mountain pose now. Allow your feet just to sink in and be very relaxed. Let everything go now. Just everything let gravity work. You're standing in mountain pose, palms are forward. Let's take a few deep breaths now and feel the orientation. Let's continue a little bit more deep breathing now. And then let's turn sideways. If you have bad ankles or bad knees, just keep the straddle so it's not very wide. What we want to do, I'm going to demonstrate with my feet first of all. The left foot is going to be forward and the toes are going to be straight in that direction. The right leg is going to be behind me. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually forming a triangle. Both legs are straight. And just get a feeling for how far your straddle can be. Your right toes are cocked at a 45-degree angle. And let's just take our hands and put them at the hips. And we're going to just come over the left foot. And you can extend the straddle a little bit more, but just be careful. Make sure that you can see your toes. Make sure that you don't lean out over the toes. And the trick here is also to keep this leg actively in a triangle. Hands can be on the hips now, and we want to just work this back and forth, just really gently, at your own speed. Just use your breath here to do this. Part of this is balance, and part of it is strength. So, okay, so it looks like you got that. So now we're going to take it just a step further. You got the feet posture. So now as you come out over the left foot, go ahead and pause there and actively check and make sure you got a nice tight triangle on the right side. And this is sort of the angle that it's at. And now go ahead and take your hands off your hips, as long as you're comfortable with it and you're not out of balance. And you bring your hands into prayer pose. We're going to challenge balance just a little bit here. Hold that posture. And now take the arms all the way out wide into warrior pose. And then look along the left arm. Just look out the left hand there. And then go ahead and let the hands come back to center. Keep the wide straddle and turn your toes into the center. Just come back into your center position, your wide position. And you can come back, you can put your hands back on your hips to begin, just for balance. It really does help balance. And now we'll turn the right toes towards the right wall. And this is going to be in a triangle. And once again, just gently work your foot out. Step it out until you're comfortable. Don't over challenge yourself with this. I don't want you to fall. Hands are on the hips. Now just begin moving gently back and forth, just with that one leg, pushing with only the right leg. Come into a nice tight triangle as you come up. And now go ahead and hold out over that foot and bring your hands up into prayer pose again. Your balance will be different side to side. Just hold that posture for a moment now. And then go ahead and take your arms out long now. One palm up, one palm down, the right palm is up. Look out over the right palm, hold the posture, hold the triangle. And then go ahead and let that go. And once again, walk your feet back towards the center. And we'll do one more thing here before we do a final layout to open the heart center. It's a really good one for that. So hands are going to be in loose fists. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be inhaling and crossing a fist and just taking it up over the head and bringing them down through the aura. Your arms don't have to be straight. If you can make them straight, that's fine. Then on the next round, go ahead and cross the opposite wrist. Deep inhale as you come up, and then exhale as you come around, and then just change the wrist once again. We'll do this a few more times. And really stretch up and out as you come around. And then just go ahead now and give everything a nice shake while you're standing. Shake your feet out, shake your hands out. We're going to come into final relaxation now, so you can come all the way down onto your back. Make yourself really comfortable. I won't be sitting, I won't be lying down, I'll be sitting up. So don't pay attention to me. But go ahead and lie down now. You can use pillows, blankets, whatever you need to be comfortable. Once again, just go through the process of scanning the body, scanning any place that you can let go of. Start down at the feet and just work yourself up the body. Begin to relax just a little bit more. And I'm going to start off with a Tibetan bowl. Try to keep it low. The trick is not to long for the sound of the bowl. It's just to follow the sound all the way through from beginning to end, from its origin all the way through. Let the sound be a vibration. Let the Tibetan bowl represent the millions of cells in your body. Let each one of them sound. Now, once again, begin to deepen your breath. Just easily come out of it. Deepen your breath a little bit. Stay relaxed. And begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, the small joints of the body. Bring a little bit of motion there as you gently wake up. Roll your wrists and ankles. Make sure you go in both directions. And then go ahead now and do a cat stretch to each side. Stretch out long along the floor, arms up overhead, stretch out through the soles of the feet, through the fingers. Take a couple of long, deep breaths there. And then go ahead and pull the right knee into the chest and take it over the center of the body. Take a couple of breaths there. And then stretch to the other side. And then begin rubbing the palms of the hands, soles of the feet together briskly. Come back up to center. Rub your palms and your soles together briskly. Create some heat. And then go ahead and stretch the legs back out along the floor. Take the nice warm palms. Cover your eyes with them. Close your eyes. Cover your eyes. And just come back to the feeling of space. Come back to the feeling of expansion. Just notice the subtle differences now. And now just begin to gently move your hands away from your face. You can open your eyes and come back up to seated. You can rock and roll up or roll onto one side and come back up to seated. And just once again, get comfortable, get internal just for the last minute now. Become very aware of everything going on. And then let's bring the hands together at the heart center once again. We'll rub the palms together. And then bring the hands into the heart center. And just feel the space at the heart center. And we'll sing the sunshine song 3 times. The first time is for us. Second time is for everybody around us. The third time is for everybody in the world, and especially for people that we may have difficulty with. So go ahead and take a deep inhale now. And exhale. And inhale for sunshine song. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. We'll close with 3 long Satnams. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. May we all stay healthy during this period of time. May those who are homeless get the shelter that they need. May all beings awaken to the light of their own true nature. Sat Nam.